Today, I'm going to be ranking every single Pixar movie from the first Toy Story all the way down to the newest Inside Out 2. I'm going to be ranking every Pixar movie on a tier list. Now, there are going to be 5 tiers: perfect, good, great, good, okay, and bad. And this isn't going to be in order because this is how the tiers came, and I just don't feel like making them be in order. So they're not going to be in order, but I don't think it really matters. But we are going to start off with the first ever Pixar movie, Toy Story. Honestly, though, is it amazing? I don't know. Honestly, though, there are quite a few Pixar movies I like more than this. I mean, it's honestly, I don't know how many flaws it has. I think it's a really great movie telling the stories of toys. It was the first, actually, Pixar was a pioneer with computer animation. You probably knew that. But yeah, this is honestly a great movie about toys with the owner. I think it was a really great movie that really was pushed Pixar into a good start. Honestly, though, I don't know. I feel like the plot is just weaker and less interesting than other Pixar movies that come out later. However, that was because they were just staying out, and I think it was a pretty good movie. I don't know. I think it was great. Definitely a great movie. I don't know if I'd put it in perfect though. The very top of great. Do you want to just skip to Toy Story 4? Was Toy Story 4 needed? No. Was it good? Yes. I admit they probably should have stopped after Toy Story 3 in my opinion. Also, we're going over all the Toy Story movies at a time. I just don't think I really want to do that. So here and here. But yeah, Toy Story 4. I feel like this really wasn't needed, honestly. I feel like they kind of hindered it by making after. I think it would have been more cool to just have Toy Story 3 been the finale. However, it was kind of cool finally having Woody go off and be his own guy after serving kids for the whole majority of this franchise. It was nice to see him being on his own now, finally accepting being on his own. However, as much as I liked Toy Story 4, I don't know. I just feel like it kind of hindered Toy Story 3. I feel like it wasn't needed at all, and they're making a fifth one. I honestly know this if they just stopped here, then this would be a even better finale in Toy Story 3. Although I don't know if it was really needed, but whatever. It is I would even say it's a great movie. I think it's actually pretty well written. I actually like it quite a little bit. With Forky not really wanting to be a toy, Woody finally going out. I think it was a great movie. It just kind of hinders Toy Story 3. I don't know. I'll put it in great. Now we got a Bug's Life, the second Pixar franchise. Bug's Life, it's bugs going out being no bugs. It was cool. It was a movie about the little guy standing up for the big guys. They all come together, stand up for the big guy. And honestly, it was a while since I've seen Bug's Life. I only saw it once, and it was a while ago. So there's limited amounts to remember, but I remember the basic gist of it. Bug's Life was pretty fun. After Toy Story showed us the lives of toys, Bug's Life was a little more realistic because bugs are alive in real life. I don't know. Honestly, though, from what I remember, I just didn't really like the story. It was a pretty fun story with bugs. I liked it. Showing the little guys, the ants standing up for the big grasshoppers. I liked it. I liked how it was the little guys standing for the big guys. And it was also pretty funny. However, I don't know. There's just a lot I don't remember about it, and which probably hinders it. Since I still remember a lot about Toy Story and Toy Story 4. How Woody goes off on his own. How Forky doesn't want to be Forky. They go around all these places to Fizzle. And, how many soap people. And Gabby. I remember a lot of stuff about that one. I could probably list more, but I don't really want to. But Bug's Life, it's a pretty good movie. Finding Nemo. This movie is so much more memorable than Bug's Life, because I honestly forgot a lot about Bug's Life, but I think, from what I remember, it's pretty good. Finding Nemo, I feel like, it's perfect. Finding Nemo is, literally perfect. I love Finding Nemo. Dory is the greatest character. Was she faking having memory loss? Maybe. Though, maybe not. I don't know. Dory was a really fun character. She's just a funny character. I like the whole thing. It's just a fun story showing Under the Sea. It's a classic, really. Finding Nemo is just a classic. With Nemo, Marlin. Dory is the funny, great Pixar character. I don't know how funny she is, but she's a pretty great Pixar character. Marlin and Nemo, they're all great. I like the dentist. His borderline psychotic daughter, who really isn't that psychotic, but whatever. It was a pretty good movie. It is really fun. And honestly, though, it's basically perfect. The plot is really good. Showing Marlon let Mimo grow up. It's just about the 5 stages of grief. Well, I think that could be like some more adult concept. I think for the most part, this movie, I don't know how much I believe that theory. There's a theory that it like goes over the 5 stages of grief and that Lost Nemo, which, I don't. Maybe that could be like a deeper, more, I don't know. Maybe that could be like a deeper little side to it, but I think that's not. I don't really think that's true. But I think Finding Nemo is a great movie, even perfect, honestly, because there's just not anything wrong about it. I like the story a lot more than Toy Story and Bug's Life. It's perfect. Finding Dory. Why are all the franchises right next to each other? Got no idea. But I guess they decided, fine. Let's rank Finding Dory. Let's just rank them all. To find in an order. So Finding Dory. It was a really great sequel to Finding Nemo. Instead of focusing on Nemo, they were finding Dory. It was focused on Dory finding her family, which is pretty cool. I liked that orca. I liked Bailey. Bailey was funny. I liked the orca at Destiny, and I really liked all the stuff. It was a really great movie, honestly. It was perfect, even. Like, it's just a great movie. I love those characters. I love the whole marine life area. It was a pretty cool area. I liked that. I liked seeing all that. I liked seeing Marlon and Nemo hang out tonight with those. It was a pretty fun movie. All the characters were fun. It was a good plot. I don't know, though. I don't know if it was perfect. Well, Finding Nemo certainly was. Like, I don't know. I'd say, I don't know. I don't know if the plot was as strong as Finding Nemo. I'll put it at the very top of great. It's just, I love these movies. I love the characters. I love the whole under the sea world. I think it's really cool. Though I just don't know if it's as good as Finding Nemo. I'm going to put it in great. But it's definitely a great movie. Now, once my computer lets me scroll down. Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc. is perfect. I love the whole story with the twist with monsters scaring and them accidentally letting out a robot, if you believe the baby Smitty theory. But yeah, it's a really great, it's honestly a perfect movie, really showing the world of monsters. I love how all these early Pixar movies were just showing different worlds, like showing different ideas, like what if toys were alive, what if bugs were sentient, the world of the sea, and now we get to see the world of monsters. It was cool, the whole premise of monsters scaring, the twist that Modern News was part of it was pretty cool. I rewatched this movie. The second time I watched it, I forgot that Modern News was a bad guy. The second time I watched it, so yeah, it was surprising 2 times. Yeah, it was a really good movie. I love the whole scaring aspect, the respect the sushi place. That was funny. Sushi place is great. And the little sneaky reference to Jack Jack was also pretty nice. Yeah, I'd say it's perfect. I love the characters of Mike and Sully. Great. It's a really funny, great movie. Now, Monsters University. Not as good as the first one. It's... I might put it, like, at the very top of good. I mean, it was pretty fun to watch. I don't know. I might put it in, like, okay. Most people say it was a pretty mediocre movie. It wasn't more of a sequel. They were going to make Monster sequel, but they decided, let's just make a prequel. Yeah, so it's yeah. It was kind of cool seeing the origin of Randall, seeing Randall and all those characters, and how they all came to be into certain positions in Monsters, Inc. I think prequels can be pretty cool, and I think this was a pretty cool prequel. I liked all the university stuff. I don't know, though. I just didn't think... Along with most people, I just don't think the plot was as strong as the first one, like, at all. You know what? I'm gonna put it in good, even the Pup Bug's Life. I honestly really like the whole university aspect. I liked the university aspect. I also liked, those side characters. Oh, the side characters. Like that one guy says, I don't want to go back to jail. Implying that he's been to jail. That's hilarious. Yeah. I think it's the very top of good, though. Maybe, I don't think it's great. It has some problems. It's not as strong as these movies, but it's still a good movie. Almost great. Maybe even great, but I'm putting it at the very top of good. It's not great, but it's good. Incredibles. Either the bottom of perfect or the very top of good. This is a really good movie. I love Adam Miller. I love the whole superhero thing. It's a little different. I love the depiction of 9-to-5 jobs. Everything is perfect here. It's a great movie. The Syndrome twist was real. Honestly, everyone should have saw Syndrome coming. Everyone should have known he was going to be the bad guy. Everyone should have known he was going to come back because, like, come on, why else would they show that buddy scene? But by the time they revealed that like Syndrome was behind that whole spider thing, and by the time they show that whole spider thing with like that robotic spider thing, you already probably forgot about Buddy because you're focusing on all those stuff. So you've already forgotten about Buddy. So I think that twist was handled perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but pretty good. Adam Mode was amazing. It's a really good movie. Yeah, fine, perfect. Very bottom though, very bottom of perfect. I just don't like it as much as easy, but perfect. Incredibles 2. A little more off than the first one. It was still pretty good. It was still... I don't hate it like some people do. It was... Screensaver wasn't as interesting as Syndrome. The whole backstory was of the Devils was a little weird. The theories kind of solved it, made it make a little more sense. But it was still kind of an movie. It was good. I'd even say it was more good than Monsters University and Bugs Life. But I don't know. I just say that I don't think the villain was as strong as Syndrome and stuff. It was still pretty fun though. I don't know if the plot was as strong as some of these other movies, but it's just fine. I'll put it at the very bottom of great. I don't know though. I'd say it's good. I guess maybe it's good. I mean, I liked it. It was a pretty fun movie. I'll put it at the bottom of good. Cause I'm gonna be real, dude. I haven't really seen the Cars movies. I just never really cared about the Cars movies. So I don't really know where to rank them because I haven't seen any of them. So I'm gonna create a new tab. There's only a few movies gonna be in this tab, and they're basically all the Cars movies, but I just haven't seen the Cars. I just never thought about seeing the Cars movies. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in never watched. All of them. I have seen these solos though, like Ratatouille. They haven't made a Ratatouille 2 because if they did, everyone would be complaining that the rat hasn't died by then, and the place has and Remy and Linguini hasn't got a jail for various crimes, and the fact that many people haven't gotten sick from a literal rat cooking their food. But yeah, it's in all seriousness though, it's a pretty good movie. I just feel like there's many problems with like the fact that the main plot was on like a rat cooking food. And, like, the healthcare, like, how have people not gotten, like, serious diseases? Like, you realize that rats kill, like, a ton of bacteria, right? Whatever. I mean, I guess they do take, I guess he does clean himself, I guess, maybe, but, he also goes to other places and then cooks. I don't know. But in all seriousness, just forgetting about all that real stuff, just looking at the suspension of belief, it's a pretty fun movie about a rat cooking and a rat helping a little guy become a chef. It's a pretty great movie. I love Chef Skinner as a quote-unquote villain. Is he, though? No idea. But he was actually pretty entertaining. He definitely did kind of feel like a villain. And, I mean, he was pretty entertaining. I loved Remy. I loved all the plot with them cooking. Anyone can cook. The skinny guy. I thought it was a pretty great movie. WALL-E, a great movie about why you should protect our planet. And B&O, which may or may not be an equivalent to Disney. That is basically every company in these days. If in like 200 years, probably Disney or some company is going to be like B&O. But yeah, it's a pretty good movie about why we should preserve our planet. And, it's pretty fun. It's a love story between two robots. And I liked it. It was cool seeing all the people get really fat. It was cool seeing a world where they look like the planet. It was kind of a social commentary of some sorts, but I liked it, I guess. It was pretty great. I like the love story between WALL-E and Eve. I'll put it, and they never do make a sequel, which I think is nice, just preserve it. I think it's a pretty great movie. I love WALL-E. I love all the people getting fat. I love showing what could happen if we neglect our planet and B&L. I think it's a great movie. Also, Otto was pretty great, even though he doesn't really have a mind. He still just played. He was still a pretty good, entertaining villain, honestly. When he was villain. Up. Up is great. Charles Ponce being a villain wasn't expected. I loved Carl Fredricksen. I loved that boy. I loved the dog. This was such a fun movie. This was a pretty fun movie. It had some pretty dark, mature topics, but I think that just made added to this movie. I would say it's great. This is the bottom. This is the top of the great tier. Great to make perfect. But yeah, this is a really, honestly though, I love the more mature dark themes with Carl getting old, his wife dying, all that, not having kids. I love the kid. I love the dog. Doug. Oh, Doug is a great character. This movie is great. Okay, it's great. It's unrealistic. I think I watched this a long time ago. You know, Brave. I forgot a lot about it. So I'm just gonna put this never watched. I forgot a lot. If I have watched Brave, I forgot. I think I remember the main thing, like with the girl wanting to be a shooter, having to take over the family as a queen, I think. Something around Bayo. I don't know. I completely forgot. If I have seen Brave, I forgot like 9%. I forgot most of the plot, so I'm just going to put never watched. Toy Story 2. Great movie. I just don't think it's as strong as the first two. I liked the new characters, the Stinky Pete twist. That horse was pretty funny. And honestly, though, Stinky Pete was the rightest character in the whole. Was the only character who had common sense in the Toy Story movies. He was scarily right. You don't like root for him or anything, but you know that he's right with like the toys not being loved. Which, and in fact, most of what he says will happen to the toys if they stay with Andy. Like happens in Toy Story 3. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty. I also just like the whole plot with that owl guy, the chicken. Yeah, it was a pretty fun movie. I'll put it in, I don't know, I just don't like it as much as the other three, but I'm going to put it in good. Top of good. Fine. Great. Oh, Inside Out. There is not a single reason to not watch Inside Out. I don't know if it's as good as Monsters, Inc., but it's really high up there. Fine. Switching it to Monsters, Inc., something dethroned Monsters, Inc. as the best Pixar movie on this list. It's just a great movie. It's amazing, like perfect. I love the whole thing with Rowley. No, not Rowley. That was me being too much shy of Wimpy Kid. Riley, and the emotions are all great. I love them. It's funny. I love the whole thing with. I love like it shows out Riley growing up and emotions, trying to save her. Does it really have a soul in this movie's context? Because the emotions basically pilot Riley's brain. I said, does she really have a soul? Makes you wonder. But whatever. It's when you just don't think about that stuff. It's a great movie. Amazing. It's an amazing movie. Really showing the trouble that can happen when someone moves away. And it's kind of begins the coming of age plot. This movie doesn't really focus as much on the coming of age stuff. That it kind of like opens that up for Inside Out 2 to do, which is why it makes me wonder why it took so long for Inside Out 2 to come out. But it did this year. So thank God we finally have Inside Out 2. And it's better than Inside Out. I don't know why people said, like, I can get why people wouldn't like Toy Story 4, Toy Story 5 were happening, because like, they should have just stuck to after Toy Story 3. But I feel like Inside Out 2 was actually a worthwhile addition. Because, like, first off, we only had one movie. And I feel like stopping after one movie is never really that. I don't think it really matters that much if you stop after one movie. And I honestly feel like Inside Out kind of left an unfinished and uncrossed bridge. I feel like they kind of just, like, opened up for Riley growing up. I don't think they really, like... This one really dives in through Riley, like, growing up, experiencing new emotions. That was, like, the warm-up, it, like, introducing us to all that, and this, like, really dives in to Riley growing up, her new emotions. I'm glad that Inside Out 2 happened, because I think it makes more sense than any off of Inside Out. Inside Out 2 was a really just perfect movie, so it's perfect. Now we have Toy Story 3. Lots that was great. The whole thing with Andy growing up. The two eventually go off to Bonnie. The same thing's going to happen to her, but whatever. This is where Toy Story should have ended. Honestly, though, I feel like Toy Story 4 probably was a better conclusion. Honestly, though, when you really think about it, Toy Story 4 probably was a better conclusion to Toy Story 3. But I think people would be way happy if I think it would have been way better if they just, like, stopped at Toy Story 3, because it was a pretty good conclusion. Them going on to help a new kid, make a new kid happy, just like they did with Andy. With all new friends they made along the way of their adventures. Not to mention Lotso was a great villain who you kind of, you don't really agree with his tactics. He still has emotion and personality, and like you kind of feel bad for him, which I like. Toy Story 3 is great. A top of great. You know what? Nah, I don't think it's amazing material, but it's great. It's a great movie. Never watched, and I'd probably put it in bad if I did. Coco's great. I love the whole thing that really focuses on Mexican stuff. I like that. That's the whole Ed with Dead thing. The Inessa de la Cruz, Hector. I think all that stuff is cool stuff for them to focus on. I really liked all that stuff shown in this movie. And I loved Inessa de la Cruz and Hector. I loved the dynamic. I loved Inessa de la Cruz as a twist villain. That was surprising. It would have been if I didn't already know that when I initially watched this. But is it perfect? Sure. Nah. I'll put it in great, like here in great. Nah, this movie's perfect. I love this movie. It's great. I love the stuff with Coco and Inessa Cruz. I love that. He was a great character. I liked Coco, all the family stuff, him wanting to be a musician. I loved all that stuff. I think it really focused on some interesting stuff. I liked Coco. It was perfect. I think I saw Onward, but it was a while, like a really long time since I saw Onward. So I'm just going to put it here. I know, a few too many Pixar movies I never watched. But, hey, I watched all the important stuff, okay? Come on. Who really cares? Like, no one even likes, like, at least 3 of these anyway, so whatever. So, is it perfect? I mean, Soul was a great movie. Sure, it started Pixar's trend of, like, not really having villains, and it started Disney's trend not really having villains. But I don't mind. I think it's really cool focusing on that aspect. Showing Joker. I think it was a really cool plot. I think Soul is honestly a really cool plot. I'm really glad they did it because it was really cool seeing Joe just die and focusing on the soul that makes someone happy. A soul achieving life. I liked it. I honestly think it might have been perfect. I'd say it's better than Coco. Maybe. No, it's not better than Incredibles. But it's still a perfect movie. Perfect. Luca. It's good. I'm going to put it in good. I didn't even use the okay too, which, honestly, no, I'm using okay for Bug's Life because I'm just so about it. I'm using the okay too for Bug's Life. But Luca was, I'd say it's good. I like the whole thing with him being, the sea creatures. I like him finally going off into his own, wanting to go off into his own in the world, and not wanting to be underwater, and he achieves that goal. I like all this stuff. The race was pretty fun. I think, and it did actually have a villain, although he's not, like, really a terrible guy. He's still a villain. And I liked that. I liked him. He was great. I liked the whole bike racing thing. I thought it was pretty fun, them preparing. I think it was good. I don't know. I just didn't like the plot as much as all this stuff. But it's still good. Bug's Life is so okay. I thought I only put it there just so that it would be used, but no, I'm just so about it. Turning Red. I know we're finding that new Pixar movies that people don't really like. Turning Red. I don't know. I actually think it focused on some pretty cool stuff. I like that it really focused on maturity, but it focused on some different parts of maturity, like dating. They used the word sexy, periods, and of course, the very normal thing that always happens: children turning into pandas when they get too old. When they get angry. No, I'm kidding. But that's not really that normal. That's like the unnormal part. Every Pixar movie has something abnormal about it. And this is Turning Reds. Yeah. I like how it focuses on Chinese culture, and it focuses on the pressure that Chinese people have, and all kids have to satisfy their parents, even if it hurts them. I like Turning Red. However, I don't know. I'll put it here in good. I think it had a lot of problems that most people have already said. I'm gonna put it in good. I swear, I think 50% of the hate for this for Lightyear was because of having it was because they had a girl kiss another girl. I just don't get the hate of Lightyear. I don't know. I mean, I admit it's not, the plot isn't as strong as other Pixar movies, but I just don't think it's even bad. I think it's good. I think Lightyear is a good movie, just like all these movies. It is as good as, at least as good as Monsters University. But no more. I don't know if I liked Incredibles more personally, but Lightyear was still a good movie. It was good. Lightyear was good. I enjoyed the Zurg thing. I like that Zurg wasn't his father. I think I didn't make Zurg his father. They did something, because I bet at least a quarter of the people watching, including me, thought Zurg was going to be his father because of Toy Story 2. And that, to fair pun, it wasn't. I think it was way cooler than that, being like Buzz, being like Lightyear from the future. I think that was so much cooler than that. I think it was really great. It was a pretty good movie. I just don't get why people hate it. I just don't get why people don't like this movie. So I'm sure the plot wasn't as strong as all of these, but it was still a solid, good movie. Now we're on to our last movie, and also one of the newest. Not the newest, but one of the newest. Elemental. Elemental is, people were really scared this was going to do terribly, like Lightyear and Toy. It actually did okay. Almost made $500 million in the box office. That's a redemption story. Great. I think Elemental is right above Toy Story 2. Maybe even above that too, because come on, bro, the stuff this movie does. But it's a great movie. I love the romantic story between Ember and Wade. I think that was cool. It was cool seeing all this element stuff. It was a really pretty movie. Like, that Valskabum guy with that V, that Valskabum guy, he made a video about how there was so many computers. This movie required more animation, required more computers and more effort spent in the animation than any other movie, and it really shows. Apart from that, the story was pretty nice. Well, it was a little more generic. It's still something Pixar hadn't really touched before. They kind of touched some. They barely, maybe you can say something that is a little similar, and even less similar Inside Out. But I felt the dating thing with Ember, wanting to please her parents, but finding a boy who isn't quite like her, and it's not really considered normal to film date, but it's still great. I like that. It was a pretty good movie that way. I liked them trying to figure out where that water came from. The Gale was great. The sports game the sport people were great. That plant guy was great. It was a pretty funny movie, whilst also being a pretty interesting movie. I think it was great. It was a great movie. And now we're done. We're done with Elemental. No, not Elemental, but the Pixar movie 2 list. If you liked it, please sub. I'd appreciate it. And here's another video you might want to watch. Anyway, peace.